Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Engelson. We begin tonight with a tragedy in Minneapolis where two children are dead after a school shooting. An 8-year-old and 10-year-old were killed in that attack. And just after 8 a.m., 17 others were hurt when police say the shooter opened fire during morning mass that marked the first week of school. Authorities tell us 14 of those injured are school students. Officials say the suspected shooter is dead and the search for a motive is underway. This happened at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. Annunciation Church is at West 54th Street on the city's far south side. In just the past few hours, we have learned from Minneapolis police that all 17 of those who were injured are expected to survive. We have team coverage of this story, including how people here in the metro are responding. But first, let's go to Local 5's Dana Searles live near that church in Minneapolis with the latest. Dana.
Well, Stephanie, I can tell you, driving up here, nothing can really prepare you for the moment that you get here and the feeling that's surrounding this tight-knit community right now. I can tell you, I'm actually from Minnesota. I went to a Catholic church, and just being here, it actually hits a bit close to home. It's heartbreaking to see what everybody is going through. When we first arrived, we got here right around the time of the second press conference. And while there was media here, a huge media present, there was actually a lot of outside neighborhood people surrounding here, joining in to listen in, to hear an update on what is going on, looking for answers. There are still a lot of questions that need a lot of answers. But I can tell you, this all unfolded on just the second day of school. Heartbreaking to think about sending your child off to school and having to get a call like this. It just became all too real for a lot of parents and kids at a school like this. Now, Stephanie, you went through a lot of the details of how many people were hurt and injured. It was clearly a huge mass shooting out here. Heartbreaking to hear about, really the unimaginable thinking. And I can tell you there's still a very large presence, caution tape still surrounding the church here. The roads are starting to open up a little bit, but there are still many roads blocked off. Now, one of those who survived the shooting, police say some have been released from the hospital, which is good news there. 4 underwent surgery and the rest are still hospitalized and receiving treatment here in Minneapolis. Officers say most of the victims are kids, but 2 people in their 80s were also at mass at the time of the shooting. They are expected to recover along with all of those currently getting treatment at the hospital. Good news there. That is the recent update we got from officials. Now, police say school staff acted heroically to get all of the students out of the church and to safety. That includes 5th grader Weston, who says he's only alive because a classmate laid on top of him during the shooting until a staff member helped him get to safety.
My mom was waiting outside of the church when it happened. I was scared that I wasn't going to see her because I didn't know what was happening really. I was just in shock.
Now, all of those kids were in church here at Annunciation Catholic School to celebrate Mass. They were praying, they were worshiping when those shots rang out. That's when investigators say Robin Westman began shooting. Westman then died by suicide and was found by responding officers. That's the 23-year-old suspect. Police say Westman had a rifle, a shotgun, and a handgun that were all legally purchased and recently purchased. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara called the shooter a coward during a news conference within the last 3 hours and talked about the impact the violence is already having on the victims and the first responders.
The dozens of officers that responded to this scene, many of them are deeply traumatized by what they saw, as are obviously all of the children, all of the staff members, Father Dennis, everyone who was at Mass this morning.
Now, O'Hara says at this time they do not have a motive and that his department alongside state and federal investigators are all looking in to learn why anyone would open fire on a group of kids just praying inside of a church. Like I said, a lot of questions still needing answers. We are hearing from officials saying that there is a potential manifesto that was posted online. However, that has since been taken down. Investigators are looking into that. The FBI does say it is investigating this as an act of domestic terrorism and a potential hate crime against Catholics. So a lot of developing information. Like I said, still looking for a lot of answers. And I can tell you this scene is still very active. So there's a lot of work being put into this. There are going to be vigils held throughout the community this evening, and we will be sure to stay on top of this and check back in with you guys later tonight. But for now, I'm live in Minneapolis. Dana Searles, Local 5 News.